feel you in the wind, I see you in the trees. Everywhere I look, I feel your heartbeat. Majestic mountains high, in every drop of rain. All of this just shows me how much you love me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your constant care for me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your endless grace for me. In every drop of dew, the rustling of the leaves, the chirping of the birds, a perfect symphony. Smell of the flowers, the richness of the soil, the sweetness of the fruit that satisfies. I am amazed by the symphony of your creation. I am amazed by your omnipresence. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your endless grace for me. From a firefly to a shooting star, to the song a cricket sings, from the raging seas to the placid lakes, to the bubbling of the stream, from the rays I feel from the rising sun to the stillness of the night. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your constant love for me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty.
Good morning and welcome to the Stories for a Better Normal. Just in case you're wondering what was the video you've just seen, yung una po, yung I am amazed, is our prayer for today and for every week that we're together. I composed that some years ago, just wrote my thoughts in thanksgiving for nature and for God's blessing of the environment. And the son of a pastor wrote the music. And so why do I play it? Because I want to share it with you. I'm not a professional composer. I simply wanted to share the beauty of the environment and nature. And the second, I wanted to share with you the beauty and the bounty of my home province of Antique. And the beauty and bounty is seen Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, just like Antique. We wanted to share that with you. And today, we have a very important topic just as we have every week in the Stories for a Better Normal. Ano ba itong Stories for a Better Normal? Bakit ba tinatawag nating better normal ito? Kasi kailangan pagbalik natin sa ating kinagawian sa panahon ng pandemic at pagkatapos ng pandemic, kailangan hindi na yung dating normal. Ano ba yung dating normal? Gamit ng plastic. Tinatapon ang plastic at bote lata plastic sa karagatan, sa lawa, sa ilog, sa tabing bahay, sa kapitbahay, at hindi naghihiwalay ng basura. Gusto ba natin yan? Hindi po. Gusto natin segregated ang waste sa nabubulok, hindi nabubulok, so we can do our own organic compost so that we can do our own segregation and make money out of waste, zero waste. Also, yung source natin ng ating mga gulay, kinakain, we can grow our own food. We can do organic fertilizers, organic farming, engage in permaculture. Ngayon, our topic for today is greening the supply chain. What is this? Now, we will talk to 3 entrepreneurs who have evolved to become social enterprises that make money. We'll find out. So, pwedeng kumita na tama ang ginagawa, na maski na akma sa kalikasan at kala ng ibang tao ay baka hindi kumita. They will prove to us that doing it the right way is the way to go. So allow me to introduce, just 1 minute, I wanted to make sure that we have our topics correct. Because today, we will highlight the importance of supporting our small farmers, reducing food loss and food waste in the supply chain, feeding the hungry, keeping the local food supply chain functioning and resilient to shocks tulad nitong pandemya na ating naranasan. So, we have Ace and Andy Estrada. Nakikita ko to sa Instagram but I'm not really, I still have to be more engaged perhaps, and I would invite all of you, hindi lang sa ako makasimanwa sa Antique, kundi lahat na rin, pati na rin sa Norte, mga taga-Cordillera. Ang inyong lingkod naman ay tukwipi ng Cordillera. At sa ating mga kapatid sa Mindanao, ang inyong lingkod ay bay-alabi naman ng mga Maranao. At siyempre, ako'y taga-Panay. Ang ako makasimanwa sa Panay ay manood tayo. Matuto tayo kay Ace and Andy Estrada ng Rural Rising. Gustong-gusto ko yan kasi rural girl ako eh. Ace and Andy are serial entrepreneurs. Bakit serial? Serial ba? Tama? Okay, entrepreneurs turned into social entrepreneurs. Maraming may COVID baby ha. Sila may COVID baby. Ang galing, tuturuan nila tayo. Rin-rescue nila ang mga produkto ng farmers gaya ng ginawa namin ni Governor Cadiao sa Antique, pero I'll tell you later. Binabayad nila sa mga farmers nila, sapat, tama. Huwag na tayong tumawad, naghirap ang mga magsasaka eh. Maaring mas mataas pa, hoping to bring the rural prosperity to give customers access to fresh and cheap vegetables. Ang dami namin, sana paano kaya makonect kayo sa Antique, to create resellers and donate all unsold vegetables to severely COVID-impacted barangays. We can also add now barangays who are in need because of Rolly, Quinta, and Ulysses. The group with 30,000 followers on their Facebook page and 10,000 members in Facebook group, we will increase that, was able to do rescue buys from distressed farmers in the Cordilleras, even in Central Luzon, in Nueva Ecija, in Nueva Vizcaya, Aurora and Quezon, Tarlac and Pangasinan. Ito yung mga areas apektado ng Ulysses. So tell us, Ace and Andy, later on, how you cope and how we can help the farmers who have been impacted not just by COVID, pero ngayon ng Ulysses. Ang susunod natin guest ay si Eloisa Rumaraog Biga of Session Groceries. Matagal ko nang gustong bumili dito. Nakikita ko yan, I think kay Cheat One. Next time we'll have Cheat One of Eco Store, okay? Session Groceries, hindi naman ito yung Session Road sa Baguio, no? Hindi. It was born hindi sa pandemic, no? 2018. So bago rin. Farm to table. Alam mo, ako siguro pwedeng supplier mo. Kaya lang ako kasi, ang supply ko, nakakahiyaman aminin, ibang mga staff ko bumibili. Binibigay ko lang dati yan sa Senado. Dinadala ko rin sa opisina sa House of Rep. Kaya lang ngayon, work from home, most of our staff ay pag ako'y nag-harvest, ay hindi ko naman pwedeng i-deliver lahat sa bahay nila. So, nag-order sila, pinapag-grab. Hindi ko naman kayang bayaran lahat ng grab nila sa malalayong bahay. So, I actually have farm to table, but because of the CQ, nahirapan mag-deliver, but everything is used. In fact, ngayong breakfast ko, kumain ako ng dahon ng talinom at bulaklak ng kamantige, konting lechugas, at blue ternate flour. Sabihin nyo, baka naman yung kinakain ko ay hindi na dapat kainin, ha? So ang farm table produced to buyers from Baguio City, kaya Session Road, right? Okay, very good. Okay, they mentor and coach farmers from mind setting to goal setting and accounting. Importante, turuan natin silang accounting at saka yung tamang presyo. Huwag lugi, huwag naman sobrang taas. Pag may oversupply from farmers, Session Groceries uses the power of digital marketing to help the farmers. Eloisa and co-owner Catherine Suarez saw helping the agriculture industry can help reboot the Philippine economy, agree, sustain millions of livelihoods, and foster food security. Good morning. I'm so happy. So far, I'm so interested with both of you. And now we have Tracy Santiago. Naku, one of my favorite places in the country is Sagada. Natulog ako dyan ilang beses. I want to go back to Sagada. I love the Cordillera. Perhaps if I was not from Antique, I'd be either in Palawan or in the Cordilleras. But I'm an adopted daughter of each province in the Cordillera. And Sagada is very close to my heart in Mountain Province because my late Chief of Staff, Yvonne Geston, is from Mountain Province, from Bontoc. And we love Sagada. After pandemic, I will bring my whole staff to Sagada, as well as the Ifugao Rice Terraces, because we have 4 UNESCO sites in Ifugao. Sagada has been declared a UNESCO site, not yet, no?
Not
but
yet.
We'll talk about that later. Tracy was a former humanities and Philippine arts and culture instructor. Oh, our alma mater. Yes, UP Diliman and Los Baños. Very good. Before she became an independent cultural worker, parang similar ang ating tinatahak na landas. I'm also from UP. Yes, I came from UP Mascom. I may have ended in journalism or television, and then eventually Senate, and now in Congress. But I've always been a cultural worker, but we talk about that later. And you're also a tourism consultant. So actually with all these social enterprises in agriculture. We can create tourism, domestic tourism tours, right?
Yes.
Ika, magiging tour operator na rin tayo. We will curate our tours. She's been working with the Sagada community since 2014, and she's been helping the LGU with the responsible and sustainable tourism programs. Tracy, I helped one group of potters in Sagada. Pinuntahan ko pa by the roadside at the time. Let me see. Anyway, my staff are online now. I'd like to make sure that the farmers of the three groups, Session, Rural Rising, and Sustainable Sagada, we can give them dole pangkabuhayan and dole tupad, especially during this pandemic. I'm sure they're taking notes now. Sometimes my webinars end up to be long meetings, okay? Sustainable Sagada was born out of the situation to support farmers and food producers, create a better source of income through agriculture and food production. It aims to produce, to route the produce to sellers and consumers, and serves as a conduit for channeling vegetables to distressed communities because of the pandemic and the recent calamities. Oh, you're my heroes. You're really my heroes. And could I connect you, although you're from Sagada and you are from Baguio, wala yata tayong greening and supply chain representative from the Visayas and Mindanao, but we can do that and you can connect that with us. Okay, first, let's listen to the couple, to Ace and Andy Estrada. But first, sa mga nanonood sa atin, this is a collaborative effort of my office, former Senator Lauren Legarda of 21 years. And pasensya na, I always talk about my laws because my laws are so relevant. Climate Change Act, People Survival Fund, Clean Air Act, Ecological Solid Waste Management Law, Renewable Energy Law, National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Act, and many more. So you have to listen to our experts also who will tell us, paano ba sa panahon ng lockdown na masama at mahina din ang connectivity na tayo ay magkaroon ng negosyo. Wala tayong merkado. Ano yung supply? May CQ, EG, MCQ, alphabet CQ. But what do we do? So, all these, you are my heroes. Really, you are my climate heroes. Those in the agriculture sector who bring food to our table. So, Ace and Andy Estrada, paano nyo nabuhay ang rural rising? Paano kayo apektado sa panahon ng 8 months na lockdown? Paano rin kayo naapekto ngayon sa panahon ng Rolly, Quinta, Ulysses at maski walang bagyo ay dumadagsa ang ulan at may baha and all of that. Tell us your story in the new norm, in the better normal. Thank you. And we will be giving away farmer kits, okay, as we do every week. Yes. I'm sure may presentation kayo.
Yes. Can you hear me, Deputy Speaker Legarda?
Very clear
Yes.
po.
We're honored for me and Andy to be here on your show. Magandang umaga po to you and to everyone. I'd like to start by saying na hatiin namin na Andy presentation namin. I'll tell you how we became serial entrepreneurs, and then Andy will tell you how we shifted that to becoming social entrepreneurs. So the first slide will show you what we're doing pre-pandemic. We were thought leaders. We like to think of ourselves as thought leaders in many different fields, except gulay, except agri. So we have the Vivix Academy. We're at TESDA School. We have a co-working space where we are nurturing startups. Tapos may coding bootcamp kami, the first coding bootcamp in the Philippines. Nag-e-commerce po kami, yung Elevant. I'm the president of the Benguet ICT Council for ICT work. I'm selling military hats online to US military soldiers. Tapos Andy has spearheaded something called the International English Teachers Conference. And then finally, we have the Work From Home Initiative. These are some of the few things that we're doing aside from a few sub-passion projects yung tawag namin doon. Next slide po. Yeah, next slide. So our story started really by us going to the market during the pandemic, no lockdown. And there was a very distinct fear of what's happening in the world. Ang napansin namin doon sa market was that some of the sellers were giving away their produce for free. And then, upon further investigation, we found out na doon sa bagsakan ng mga gulay, yung mga truck ng gulay ng mga farmers ay inuuwi na hindi nabebenta or nabibili sa sobrang babang halaga kasi po wala pong bumibili. Naka-lockdown yung city, hindi makapasok sa Manila. There's even unverified reports na yung isang farmer nagpakamatay after line up siya sa aggregation center for 3 days na walang bumili. And then further investigation, we found out na hindi lang pala sa Baguio yung problem kundi all around the Philippines. So we wrote something about this. And then yung post na yon went viral. It was a simple post. Nag-viral po siya. And people started asking us, can we help? Can you bring the gulay down to Manila and we will buy? So we started with 500 kilos, nag-rent kami ng truck. We brought it to Manila, pre-sold na yung gulay. People bought it, sold out in 2 hours. Let's do this again, sabi namin. And then we sent another truck after 2 days, but we're buying them from the trading post muna because this is where we saw the problem. Ubus ulit. And we started doing it more often. Every day, every other day. On the first month, April 7 yung start namin. After 1 month, we were able to sell about 10 tons or more na gulay. And then, there was a TV show. I don't know if I could mention the name of the host. I'll let you decide. They picked up the story and they said, Ace, Andy, what do you call what you're doing? Ang sabi namin, oh, we're the accidental vegetable dealers. And it was funny, tawa sila. And then people actually connected it. Paano ka maling accidental? And we started moving produce na until finally we said we should stop calling ourselves that. We should think of a name of what we should call ourselves. And then magic moment, and they said rural rising. Ito yung gusto kong gawin for many years. So I'll let you talk about that. So we started calling ourselves Rural Rising Philippines. So that is our beginning.
So as Ace mentioned, hindi lang po pala ang problema isolated dun sa Cordillera. Nandun din ang mga pictures and posts about bundok-bundok na kalabasa. Nandyan sa Nueva Vizcaya, sa Nueva Ecija, Kamatis, and parang talagang pag nakikita mo yung mga posts na yun, parang what's happening? Doon sa parte ng Manila, walang makain. Tapos nandito tayo sa probinsya na nasisira lang ang produce. So ang nangyari po noon is we went beyond Baguio City or La Trinidad and we reached out to the farmers ng iba-ibang produce in different areas. So nag-umpisa po yung aming out of our comfort zone. And then we coined the term rescue buy kasi talaga pong ganun ang pakiramdam namin kasi parang it was almost an impossible mission dahil first, kailangan namin makipag-usap doon sa mga tao na hindi namin kilala. Pangalawa, hindi po namin alam ang mga presyo na tama. Nagko-consult lang kami sa DAR, sa DA, and then humahanap po kami ng tutulong para ma-immobilize yung pagkuha. Kamukha niya ng Philippine Army, ang Department of Agriculture, at kung sino-sino pong trucker na nakikita namin along the way. So, nag-umpisa na po yun, and every week we found ourselves talking and arranging the distribution ng iba't ibang gulay. So far, parang sa record po namin, parang nasa 200 tons na po yung na-move namin. And these are paid to the farmers at the fair price, and nabibenta naman po sa mga consumers at a very good price. So yun po. Okay.
So to continue the story, we got more interest on what we're doing. And then, isang call, that pivotal moment in your life, someone calls you and you. The pivotal moment was actually when San Miguel Corporation called us. And the question was very simple and very profound. How can we help you? At isa lang naisip namin, take us off the streets. We were bringing the trucks to sidewalks in EDSA. Hinahabol kami ng police, bawal dito. COVID. Or sa barangay, or nakikiusap kami sa mga basketball courts. And the members will follow the trucks at midnight. to buy the trucks. So they gave us an old house in UP Village. 15 years na po siyang bakante. We got it, we snapped it, we embraced it, and made it better. And we started calling it the Ruray House at Better World Diliman. So yung aspiration San Miguel and Rural Rising are the same. So they're supporting us. They've given us a truck. They've given us equipment to store the vegetables and essentially multiplied our power to do what we want to do. We also created a store where members can go into the store and buy things. So we have something called the Crate Hope. You buy a crate for $9.99, you get 10 kilos inside. After that, we donate 10 kilos to a COVID-impacted barangay. And then we give the crate to farmers to transport their tomatoes. And then we use bayongs para po hindi gagamit ng plastic. So our members,
Also, Pops,
Yeah.
na when they go to the store,
yeah,
and these are all work po ng mga crates na yan, gawa po ng mga farm laborers na wala na rin masyadong trabaho. Yung mga anak-anak nila, gumagawa po sila ng crates for us. And pagdating po doon, you go to the store, you do a crate all-you-can type of buying in order for us to avoid using plastic. Tapos nilalagay po namin sa bayong. And these bayongs are also made by the weavers of Luciana, yung mga senior citizens who are unable to move. Especially Laguna, I think, was locked down for a long time dahil sa increased COVID cases.
So our members they're not buying kulay. They think they're buying kulay, but what they're buying is the opportunity to help.
Ace, I can't hear. Sorry,
Yes.
your audio. Nawala.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now?
Better.
Yes. Opo. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay. So our members now go to Rural Rising House not to buy vegetables. They think they are, but they're buying the opportunity to help. So we join them to buy in something called Snap Buys, where we make the produce that we rescue. We make it available in bulk, but for very, very low prices. So they would buy as many as 500 kilos, 1 ton. We enjoin them to donate, to give away. So
To resell.
to create income for themselves. So yun yung message namin. Help us help the farmers.
Kasi we think that pag nagre-retail ka po, parang maliit yung impact sa farmers kasi ang objective is to move the produce. That's the reason why we do snap buys and all these rescues kasi mas impactful po siya sa economics ng farmers.
Yeah.
So over time,
the small group that we've been able to build slowly, now it's gonna breach 10,000 members this week. So we feel that's really such a blessing, a major thing, because the power of the group, the power of the collective, we're reaching a sort of critical mass. We expect to be 100,000 in 1 year, given the rate of growth we have, and we can only be able to do more. So more than moving vegetables and produce out of the countryside, we've also started doing rescue gives, not buys. So yesterday we sent an airplane to Sanchez Mira, and then every week we send out goods to depressed communities in Metro Manila, especially yung mataas yung COVID count. Last week sa Albay Bicol, and then every week yung mga Jodas, yung mga jeepney drivers na wala pong pasada. So this is what we do at Rural Rising presently. Now, Andy will tell you what we want to do sana in the near future.
well, I just want to mention po na we realized nung nag-start po kami ng April, selling vegetables is a good opportunity for us to pivot because economically we were affected. Sa Baguio City, our businesses were all the ones that were hard hit. Kasi real estate, academy, school, and
events.
co-working space and events. Yun po lahat, I think, the last to recover sa tingin po namin. And so we thought, ito pwede na muna to. But then as we went, every day we are discovering that is becoming more meaningful and more rewarding for us. It's the least stressful work we've ever had.
Yes.
And so with the power of the group behind us and who's trusting us, we can only do better. We can only do good things. And what we plan to do in the future, in the very near future, in fact, maglo-launch
Next week.
po kami next week, is that what we're seeing now is hindi lang po pala marketing ang problema ng farmers. There's just a lot more work to do. And so we started doing immersions. We literally go to the farm communities and meet the farmers and talk to them about how we can improve the situation. Because we feel na since we have a collective mass, I think it's something that that would make an impact in their lives. So we are
Group buys.
launching what we call the group buys. Hindi na po siya rescue, hindi na po siya nakafocus sa pagtulong sa isang farmer lang. Nakafocus po siya sa produce. So para po hindi lang particular farmer na tutulungan namin, pati yung iba-ibang farmer na nagtitinda ng ganitong produce. And then we also want to launch crowd farming. Sabi niyo nga po, how do we green the food supply or the supply chain? What we want to do is adopt farming communities and
Pay the produce in advance.
support them and do what we can to make sure na merong supply in the form and quality that's necessary for us to live better and more healthy. And we're going to be doing rural farms, crowd farmings in every part of the Philippines. Obviously, hindi po, since we're from Baguio, probably it's logical na doon po kami kumuha, but actually no, because we already have Session Groceries and Sustainable Sagada to take care of them. And besides, we really want to spread it in the whole country. So marami po nagtatanong sa amin, wala bang branch ang Rural Rising sa South? And ang sagot po dyan is, hindi po namin alam yung branch na konsepto pagdating sa ganito kasi po talagang it's a full-time work and hindi po kami capable to create processes or structure na parang kumpanya. I guess we will just enjoin everybody to do what we're doing, replicate yung pagtulong sa farmers in this particular method.
So yung crowd farming is we're gonna put together a small group of members, 10 to 20, and then they pay for the produce in advance. And we bring this to the farms that we choose and we're gonna grow the crops for them. And then kung anong lalabas doon, that will be their share. And the farmer will be guaranteed an income. They even get a salary for growing this. And we're gonna do it in those areas where we are helping farmers now we're buying their produce. So kung saan kami nag-rescue, doon po kami babalik. So that's crowd farming. That's what we're terming it.
Okay.
Yeah,
and finally po, a lot of people have been asking us, ano ang long-term vision ng Rural Rising, and then how are you gonna really make it sustainable? We feel, and this is a good chance for us to interact with Deputy Speaker, na I'm sure marami pong programa. Siguro ang problema lang is hindi po siguro common yung goal ng bawat ahensya. Nakikita niyo po dyan or paki-show po yung parang gusto kong ipakitang convergence ng mga iba't ibang ahensya ng ating pamahalaan na magkaroon ng mandated, yung based on their core competencies, dapat po sana magkaroon ng common goal para sa rural or sa countryside development. At it doesn't stop there. Dapat po, aside from the goal, there should be a mutual accountability. Ito ginawa namin para do sa programang to. And equal ang mga tasks, equal ang kasi ang nakita ko po yun, ginawa po yun sa Bayanihan Heal as One. Lahat po ng ahensya, nire-program para tumulong para sa COVID prevention or COVID, the COVID efforts, ginawa po ng gobyerno natin. So bakit hindi natin magawa sa countryside development na i-realign or i-reposition yung mga functions para po sa countryside development. So napaka-ideal po. I'm sure meron ng mga batas at mga polisiya, hindi lang siguro na pagsama-sama para maging mas impactful po yung changes. And then finally, siguro po doon sa crowd farming na iniisip namin, pwede po namin gawa ng model to and maging case study siya for everybody to study and also to learn from, and hopefully maging effective po yung aming efforts. Yun ba yung last?
Congratulations for the work you do, considering that you've only had this for a few months, pero yung tulong na binibigay nyo sa ating mga small farmers, lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya, is really admirable. So ang tanong ko naman, ano ang hamon sa inyo na kami sa gobyerno ay makakatulong? What's the biggest challenge that you want us to help you with? Is it transport? But that's a private sector concern. Oo. More accessible, reliable, and cheaper transport of goods, right? Oo. Or storage facilities.
Yes.
Wow. Yesterday po, may mga kausap po kaming farmers sa Eastern Pangasinan.
Yes.
And sinabi namin ni Ace na there are probably 3 major things that the LGU can do. Sabi kong gano'n. Kasi po kausap po namin yung representative. And sabi ko, there are 3 things. One is the greenhouse farming. Kasi I heard na 90% ang success rate for greenhouse. Second is storage, logistics. Kasi and food processing. So siguro yung mga yon po.
Okay, very clear. Yung greenhouse, because you're actually traders, no? Parang consolidator kayo, no? You don't do the farming yourself, but you help and buy the produce for the farmers. So when you say greenhouse, is it for you because you will plant yourself, or we will give greenhouses to the farmers? But perhaps the greenhouse concept, which I do myself, may not be applicable to some farmers na sanay to farm, let's say, sa gilid ng bundok o sanay sila sa terrain nila, baka maalangan sila na biglang sila yung mag-farming sa ilalim ng greenhouse, hindi ba? Oo.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So, second, you said food processing. That will fall under the DTI Shared Services Facility. So after this, tayo nag-meeting, let me know which of the farmers groups, maybe you can tell us now, who are ready. In short, isang grupo sila at malaki, and we can consolidate and give them facilities, equipment for food processing. Saan ito? Sa Pangasinan? Or sa anong parte ng Central Luzon?
The Deputy Speaker, Salwa Rising, meron kaming tinatawag na no-label food. Like yung mga ginawang bagoong, bangus, tapos mga dried food, and we're selling them na walang label so people can visit them too. So ngayon, the poster behind us, if you see ito, it shows yung mga nag-overproduction ng mga produce in the previous months, and now we're gonna see it again. Promise, a few weeks from now there'll be an oversupply of carrots in Benguet, and then kamatis, at saka kalabasa. We have to be ready for this. So we would like to be able to process jams para sa mga kamatis, kalabasa, to dry them. So we need equipment to be able to
Okay, done.
them.
You will get what you need, and my staff are on board now. Maybe not all, but yes, a food processing facility for carrots and for kamatis. Napakasakit sa puso nung nakita ko ng pandemya na was it in what part of the Cordillera was that, na nakatambak ang mga kamatis na bulok lang. Oo. When we can also connect you with one of our guests last week, yung chef, si Roboy Goco, na pinapakita niya kung paano niya ginagamit ang kamatis para hindi masira. So logistics, and food processing facility, greenhouses. What was the other one that you said?
Storage po.
Storage.
Storage, yes.
Yes.
Storage would be cold storage, right? Big refrigeration. Oo. So the same issues in Antique, sana maaari kayong, I know you're small and you just started at marami pa kayong hamon sa Luzon, pero yung issues na rin-raise ninyo at yung yaman ng gulay at pagkain ng kinanggagalingan sa inyo, Central Luzon and even Cordillera, ganun din sa Antique. Ang ginawa ko naman, yung mga gulay sa kabundukan, ay hindi sila makagalaw dahil naka-lockdown sa bahay o sa barangay lang, well, it was a government effort. The governor and I, truck ng gulay, lahat ng harvest nila, binili na namin at binigay naman namin sa mga tao sa barangay na hindi makalabas sa palengke. We redistributed the food supply. Pero it cannot be forever. Hindi pwede palagi ang gobyerno ang bibili ng produkto, but this can be transposed sa private sector. We called it pagkaon para sa tanan. So we just connected the supply na hindi makalabas ng area nila to the consumers na hindi rin makalabas ng area nila dahil sa lockdown. But I take note of your need for blast freezers, cold storage, equipment to preserve all the perishables na mga gulay. We'll be in touch. Yes.
Well, once someone all mentioned that our group is unique because wala problema sa marketing. The biggest problem ng mga farmers is the marketing. We can do that. Actually, credit card companies approaching us para yung mga members magkaroon ng credit card to buy more. So this is what makes us unique kasi may parang power of the collective. And what you said was really very inspiring for us. Natatouch kami. Maraming salamat po.
I don't make promises I cannot keep, but I will just say I will try my utmost. Kasi kung kita nyo sa Antique, go to my Facebook page, Inday Loren, nabibigay ko sa Antique at na-transform ko ang buhay ng mga tao sa mga mangingisda. Binigyan namin ng libo-libong fishing boats. Sa mga abaka workers, marami silang tools. Sa mga nagahablon dati, nag-aabal, nagahabi, patay na yung industriya, binuhay ko, nagtayo ako ng weaving center at bigay ng mga looms. Market connection ang importante ngayon. So, kung kaya ko sa Antique, in 1 year, wala pa akong isang term, 1 year pa lang, why can't I do it in other areas, right? So I can replicate yung ginawa ko sa Antique na convergence ng DTI, SSF, pagbibigay ng equipment sa DOLE, pangkabuhayan, puhunan sa mga maliliit na micro-enterprises at mga association at cooperative, at DOLE tupad, cash for work sa mga individuals na nagtatrabaho at DSWD SLP, Sustainable Livelihood Program, sa mga 4P families na mahihirap, Pantawid family, para may puhunan. If I can do it in Antique, and it was very successful, I'm a new congressman, woman, 1 year pa lang and 4 months, pero matagumpay. And if I may say so myself, they said, wow, golden age of Antique. So kung kadiliman ng 35 years, kayang matransform in 1 year na golden age, bakit ang hindi iba-ibang lugar? At mas madali pa kasama kayo kasi nasa tama ang utak at puso ninyo. Mas madali ang aking trabaho. Unlike in Antique, I came in by myself doing it with government. So we bring government closer to the people, as I did in neglected Antique for decades, transforming now. Not perfect, transforming. And with you in the area, so identify, is it Cordillera and Central Luzon and Northern Luzon, right?
Yes.
Huh?
God bless you.
Wow.
And
We are hoping to cover most of the areas in Luzon po. But yes, we are very... Meron po ako naging experience sa Agusan. Ito po yung kinalulungkot ko. That's the reason why I went to this. Nakita ko po yung mga... Nakalimutan ko yung pangalan ng mga logs na ginagamit na plywood. And nakapila po yung mga trucks somewhere. The next day, andun na naman. Andun sila, andun. 5 days po ako doon. Nagtanong ako sa mga tao, bakit nandiyan yung mga truck ang ginagawa? Nagkakaroon daw ng struggle sa pricing. So yung mga truckers ayaw magbaba ng logs. Yung mga buyers ayaw bumili until bumigay ang mga truckers. Kaya sana pangit na yung presyo. So bigay ko na. So bakit hindi storage? And then sabi lang, wala kaming storage. So
the same.
ganun nang nangyayari. Tapos bigla namin na-relate. Ganun yung pangyayari doon sa Agusan. Ganun everywhere. Then,
your message is very clear. I may not be superwoman, but I will try my best. I will do my super effort to help you. I will get your contacts after this, and we will have a meeting on how we can connect you so you can get part of what you wish for. We will do our best. Thank you for that. We are on Facebook, and how do they access your goods? Paano kami makabili ng gulay sa inyo at mag-Instagram, Facebook, right? And all your contacts will be put after a show today, right? Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're on Instagram, right? Rural Rising.
We're on Instagram or on Facebook. We have a shop. Na the only reason why we did it is because everybody's doing it.
Where is your shop now?
Ang aming shop is online and at the same time offline sa UP Village po, sa
Sa UP
Maayusin. It's better with Diliman with the support of San Miguel and dito po sa Quezon City.
Very good. So you have a shop, face-to-face ang dealing, and you have online store, and this was all born during COVID, right? Amazing. I like positive people who do something in times of pandemic, instead of crying or just complaining. You do something positive, not just for yourself, but to help people. And another person who does that is Eloisa Rumaraog Diga of Session Groceries. Matagal ko nang gustong bumili sa iyo din eh. Nakikita ko yung Rural Rising at saka Session Groceries. Ito kay Chick One. How do we buy from you? Okay, Eloisa first. How do we access your online store? Meron bang mobile application ang Session Groceries, or we just do a private message on Instagram? Paano yung mga wala naman Instagram at wala naman mga smartphone? Paano makaka-order sa inyo? Organic farms ba ang source ng iyong mga produkto? May we hear from you, Miss Eloisa, from La Trinidad Benguet. Nako, isa sa mga paborito. Nagpunta ako sa Bagsakan dyan eh. We look at your presentation, Eloisa.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Clear naman po ako, no?
Very clear.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Deputy Speaker Lauren Legarda. Maraming salamat. It's an honor na makasama dito sa inyong show. Okay, so ako nga po si Eloisa Diga. Nag-start po ang Session Groceries way back 2018, but it's just like an honest bee kasi favorite ko talaga yung online kasi nga nagtatrabaho ko sa isang corporate. Habang inaayos ko yung career ko, gusto ko lahat ng kailangan ko nabibigay din sa akin. And then, 2012 na pangarap hanggang sa dumating ang 2017, pinagawa namin yung app, nag-start ng 2018. However, gusto ko rin kasi na nakakatulong sa community kasi malungkot din na you have a business, mayaman ka nga, pero malungkot naman on top. Kaya sabi namin, dapat ang Session Groceries meron din siyang side na ginagawa. So yun, na para sa community. So yun, ginawa namin yun. Nagkaroon ng Typhoon Ompong sa Baguio City, sa Benguet. Tumulong tayo doon. Tapos we have a very good feeling. Nagkaroon ng tapunan na ulit ng carrots noong 2019. Sabi ko, ba't hindi kaya ito tulungan tong community na to? Tapos yun, nagbebenta na kami ng maraming vegetables dun sa Facebook, kagaya ng ginawa ni Ace ng Rural Rising. Ganun din yung ginagawa namin ng first. Sige, gawan natin. Pero kasi, I really do believe in sustainability. Yes, we can sell now. But is it sustainable? Nung ina-interview natin yung mga farmers, sabi ko, tinanong ko siya, magkano mo ibebenta sa akin tong patatas na to? Tapos ang sagot niya, ewan ko. Medyo ouch yun kasi may kasama niya yung tatay niya, 65 years old. Bakit ganon? Hindi niya alam kung paano ang presyohan. Itong tinanong ko, since 15 years old pa siya nagtatanim. Tapos hindi niya alam kung paano pa presyohan. Sabi, parang may mali talaga dito. Tapos ito na, nung tinignan na natin, nakita natin na, nung nakikipagkwentuhan tayo sa mga magsasakang to, nakita natin ang mga Filipino are dying breed talaga. Kasi yung anak niya nga nagpunta na ng Canada, ayaw nang mag-continue ng farming. Mamaya explain ko kung bakit ayaw na niya. So next slide po. Okay. Ito po yung mga nakita nating problema nung nakikipagkwentuhan tayo sa mga farmers. Una, ang dami na po nating legacy farmers. When we say legacy farmers, ito yung mga from 57 hanggang 70 years old, nagfa-farm pa. Pero yung mga anak nila, ayaw na kasi nun. Tas limited ang education. Grade 5 lang ang tinapos ng mga to, which is hindi na nila masyadong gusto na magkaroon ng technology alignment, mga ganun. And then, nakita din natin na very risky pala ang business ng farming. Bakit? Pag binagyo, kagaya ng nangyari ngayon sa Cagayan, wala na kaagad silang ibibenta. And hindi naman siya controllable. At the same time, yung mga anak nga nila, iniiwan sila itong magsasakang to, pinag-aral niya yung anak niya. Sabi niya, huwag kang tutulad sa akin na magsasaka. Bakit? Napakamahirap ng maging magsasaka. Kasi din, ang binibigay sa atin ng school, sinasabi din nila, 'di ba, na mag-aral ka ng mabuti para hindi ka magbungkal ng lupa. It's negative. Mamaya sasabihin na naman, hindi maganda ang pagiging magsasaka, mababang uri ng tao. Yun yung mga nararamdaman namin. Okay, next slide po. So, ang isa pang kung bakit ko tinutuloy ito, nung na-research natin, 110 million ang mga tao sa Pilipinas. Ngayon, nagkakaroon tayo ng 2% growth per year. At kung hindi natin inayos ang farming natin, which is agri naman ng Pilipinas, at nagkaroon na ulit ng second wave ng sabihin natin COVID, tas wala tayong magsasaka, masusustain ba natin ang bansang Pilipinas at ang mga Pilipino? So, sabi ko, baka hindi ko na mapamana sa magiging apo ko yung magkaroon man lang ng security sa food. So, yun po yung mga ginawa natin. On our next slide. So, alam natin na a farmer works so the world can eat. Pero, this is part of the ecosystem. Para magkaroon ang magsasaka ng itatanim, kailangan binibili natin yun. At kailangan tinutulungan din natin siya. And I really do believe na hindi lang siya trabaho ng gobyerno. Trabaho yan ng bawat tao. Trabaho natin, tayo mismo, kunyari private institution, na i-ensure na ang binibili natin is from local. Hindi natin pwedeng bilhin yung galing sa China. I'm so sorry, pero hindi natin pwedeng bilhin yung galing sa China kasi support muna natin yung sa atin. Ayun po, kaya kailangan natin payamanin. And then at the same time, masyadong malaki ang issues natin with our environment. Ngayon, sinisingil na po tayo ng Mother Earth and malaki ang responsibility ng magsasaka dito. Alam natin na kapag nag-i-spray siya ng napakadami, pinapatay niya yung microbes ng lupa. Yung natural niya, kaya tayo nangangailangan ng spray kasi pinatay na natin yung natural na magpapahil sa kanya para hindi magkaroon ng madaming spray na gagamitin. And hindi mo kasi mare-require din ng isang farmer na gawin niya na sana, farmer, baka naman po pwede, organic tayo. Hindi po natin kayang gawin yon sa ngayon dahil nagtitipid din naman sila or kailangan din nilang makapag-mass produce. Ang kaakibat noon, kailangan nilang mag-spray ng napakadami. Isa sa mga kwento po ng mga magsasakang nakasama natin, nilalagyan nila para tumagal ang isang cabbage, lalagyan nila yan ng formalin. Konting formalin para tumagal siya hanggang dun sa Manila pag nabenta nila. And it's so sad kasi hindi po talaga sila naturuan ng tama. Okay, next slide po. Pero paano nga ba yan ginagawa ng Session Groceries? So nakita natin, tama sila Ace, hindi market ang problema ng farming, ng farmers. Ang problema nila nag-uugat mula sa mindset. Kunyari, hindi nila alam kung paano pepresyohan yung produce nila. Bakit hindi nila alam presyohan? Ngayon, yung mindset kasi nila, sinasabi nila, magsasaka lang ako. Hindi nila alam na kapag ka ang magsasaka, nag-rally yan at hindi na nila gustong magbigay sa bawat Pilipino, ang laki ng power nila na lahat tayong mga Pilipino, kahit may ibang bansa pa, pero pagka nagkaroon ng ibang bansa ng power din na hindi tayo bigyan, aasa tayo sa Pilipinas. So yun po, inayos natin yung mindset nila. Nagpa-training tayo for the first time in history, nagkaroon po sila ng goals. Pinagawa po natin sila, what's your plan in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, para maging sustainable ang farming. And then, nung naayos na po yung mindset nila, nag-align na tayo ng technology. And for the first time din, itong mga kasama nating magsasaka, nagkaroon po sila ng bank account. Ito po yung kwento namin kasi nakakatuwa na yung magsasaka, nahihiyang pumunta sa bangko. Totoo po yun kasi nakachinelo sila. Hindi, nai-intimidate sila na pumapasok sa bangko na parang ang daming hihingin. Yung ang ina-observe namin, parang ang tanong lang sa kanya, address. Pero parang nagugulat siya. Siya lang naman ang may alam ng address niya. Pero address? Anong address? Parang ganun. And nung napakita natin na kaya nilang kumuha ng bank account, kaya nilang kumuha ng sarili nilang business permit, DTI, BIR, kasi as a business, farming is business. Ganun po talaga yan. And tinutulungan natin siyang pumasok dun. Nung nakita natin na nagagawa na nila lahat to, maayos po. Tumaas ang moral nila na magsasaka. Para ngayon, nasasabi na nila, magsasaka ako. Pag tinatanong sila, anong trabaho mo? Magsasaka ako. Hindi gaya dati, hindi mo namin siya makausap. Nakayukot, parang sinasabi niya na magsasaka lang po kasi ako. Just by changing their mindset and aligning with the technology, alam na nila. Ngayon po yung mga farmers, they know how to use the Google form, Google Sheet. They can enter their products dito po sa ating mobile app. So ganun po, ngayon mayabang na sila. And-educate din natin sila kasi since farming is business, kailangan alam mo rin yung in and out ng business mo. Ngayon nag-a-accounting sila. First time po din na nagawa ng magsasaka na partner namin na magkaroon ng simple basic accounting na nilalagay nila lahat ng ginagastos nila dun sa ledger nila and tinitignan din nila kung magkano yung kinikita nila. Ngayon nakikita na nila, ganito dapat. So, training din namin sila ng production costing. Yun parang nakita nila na, mahalaga pala na i-change mo yung mindset mo, umalign ka sa technology, at ma-educate mo yung sarili mo. Hindi lang pala basta tanim ng tanim. Ayun po. So, yung next slide natin. Ito po yung mga success stories. Masaya po ako ditong ikwento sa inyo. Kasi, ilang months lang natin sila kasama. Like for example, si Ronnie Carlos, ginger and coffee farmer. Alam niyo po ba na ngayon nakabili na siya ng additional farm niya na 1.2 hectares of land? Aside dun sa naitatabi na niyang pera sa bangko at napapaaral, napapakain niya yung mga anak niya. Brina Matan, kasama po siya sa 4Ps, tiger grass farmer na gumagawa ng walis. Ito po namang problema sa asawa niya kasi nagsusugal pa. Ngayon, hindi na po nagsusugal yung asawa niya kasi nakikita nila na, uy, wow, meron palang pera sa farming. Tutulungan ko yung asawa ko sa farming. And I also realized na hindi dahil nagsusugal, umiinom, or nagbibisyo ang isang tao, masamang tao na siya. Ibig pala sabihin, meron lang kulang dun sa tulong sa kanya. So ngayon po, nakabili siya ng second-hand na delivery car. Nakabili na rin siya ng additional farm niya, 3 hectares of land. And also si Hilion Adama ng strawberry farmer. In just 1 year, September last year po siya pumasok to September this year, naka 5 million na po siya ng gross income. Ano po yung naidulot sa kanya niyan? Nabayaran po niya yung mga utang niya kasi as a farmer, ang dami po nilang utang dahil hindi po tama yung pagbibigay sa kanya ng education, ganun po. Ngayon, nagiging inspiration na po sila sa ibang farmer, tinutulungan din po nila. Next slide. Ito po, ipinagpapasalamat po talaga natin ito sa buong community ng Session Groceries. We were able to, in just 1 year, we have around 200,000, nearing to 300,000 followers. Meron po tayong 130 likes sa Facebook. And patuloy pong gumaganda yung support sa atin ng community. Lahat po ng partner farmers natin, may utang po sila, nakabayad na po sila in just 1 year. They were able to expand. Meron po silang mga additional land and nasusustain na po nila yung need ng family. Alam niyo po yung pag sinabi naming sustain, as simple as dati kumakain ng mga bigas na hindi naman makain, yung mga kanin na hindi naman makain ng isang magsasaka. Ngayon, nakakabili na sila ng matataas na kalidad ng bigas. Can just imagine, yun lang po ang pangarap nila, mawala dun sa mga mabababang klase ng bigas at makakain naman ng matataas na klase ng bigas. At yan po mga partner farmer natin na nakabili ng mga sasakyan nila. So, bakit ko po 'to sinasabi at sinishare sa inyo? Simple lang po, if you help this community, at tama po yung talagang pagtulong sa kanila, matutulungan po nila yung sarili nila. And then yung next po niyan, ripple effect, matutulungan din po nila tayo. Next slide po. Okay, ito po yung milestone natin since start ng January hanggang ngayon, hanggang this is until October lang po. We were able to close 40,000 transactions and able to help 2,800 farmers. 450,000 ng rice ang na-ship natin together with the vegetables. Ito po since tayo ay online at kahit ganyan po karami yung transaction na nagagawa natin, we were able to employ 18 mothers, 10 working students, and 100 riders, lalo na po nung pandemic. Ang maganda pong nangyari rin dito, during the pandemic, parang nakita ng farmer yung kahalagahan nila. At nakita din ng farmer ang kahalagahan na ready sila sa lahat ng documents ng gobyerno. Kasi nung pandemic, yes, nagsara tayo, meron nung March, pero since meron silang kompletong documents, nakakadaan po sila sa lahat ng checkpoints. Dati po kasi hindi napapadaan. So sinasabi lang nila, ito yung business permit ko, nagbabayad ako ng tax, ito yung DTI ko. Ngayon po, ganun po yung mga nangyari dito sa mga magsasaka natin. Next slide. So ito po lagi naming sinasabi, Session Groceries, hindi po nandito ang Session Groceries para magbigay ng trabaho. We are here to inspire people na makagawa ng difference sa community nila. Gusto po namin ganun yung maramdaman. Itong mga magsasakang to, gusto namin magsilbi silang inspiration sa kapwa nila magsasaka na kahit ganito yung sitwasyon natin, meron tayong pag-asa, may pag-asa ang bawat magsasaka ng Pilipinas. Kasi nakita nga natin just a strawberry farmer nakaka 5 million. Meron po kaming farmer na taga Bijajang Tuba, ang kinikita niya for 1 year is 2 million. So, yun po, gusto po namin maging inspiration at gusto namin makawala ang Session Groceries na hindi lang kami, kundi yung bawat magsasaka po. Kasi deserve din naman nila ang bawat support na binibigay natin. And then, ang plan natin by next year, since natulungan natin sila, tayo naman po, ang mga farmer naman, ang magbibigay ng mas mababang presyo, at papunta na rin po tayo sa green agriculture. Lahat po ng partner farmers natin nakapasok na sa good agricultural practices. May mga inaayos lang po kami mga documents. But yun po yung plano. Dahil hindi pwedeng magsasaka ka lang, dapat magsasaka ka, honest ka sa binibigay mong food sa inyong community. Yun po, maraming salamat. Sana may mga na-inspire po kami.
It's really inspiring, Eloisa, at gaya ng Estrada couple, you're doing great to help our farmers. How have the recent typhoons of Rolly, Quinta, and Ulysses affected your sources, yung iyong mga farmers? At pangalawa, ano ang mga hamon na hinaharap ng mga farmers mo at ikaw bilang isang entrepreneur, at paano makakatulong ang iba't ibang private sector groups, including ako in government, while I represent Antique, I think I'll be able to help you just like I help other provinces. Is it, again, storage facilities? What kind of storage? Is it assistance in marketing? So we connect you, the three groups, with the Bureau of Domestic Trade for marketing of your products. Is it logistics? Is it connectivity? Because online store. So ano sa mga hamon na yon, or all of the above ba? Yun. Eloisa.
Maraming salamat po, Deputy Speaker Lauren. Yung una po, maraming salamat po sa tanong ninyo kung naapektuhan ba sila ng Ulysses at ng mga typhoon na dumaan. Sa awa po ng Diyos, dahil sinabihan namin sila na i-protect yung pinanggagalingan ng source, naka-greenhouse po sila. May mga naka-greenhouse na po mga magsasaka. Ang wala na lang po yung mga papasok na mga farmers. Sila naman po yung mga next na tutulungan. And yung pangalawang tanong niyo po, all of the above po. Kung pwede po naming mahingi lahat ng tulong na yon. Opo.
do you do farming yourself, or you connect the small farmers with the consumers? Or meron ka rin bang maliit na farm sa La Trinidad? Sa lahat ng mga times na nagpupunta ako La Trinidad, ang ganda-ganda ng mga farms at mga strawberry farms. And do you also have a family farm, or you consolidate all of these?
Hindi po. Kino-consolidate po namin. Yun din po yung gusto naming i-promote kasi kino-convince din kami ng farmer na kumuha ng sarili naming farm. But we discourage that kasi ang gusto po namin, hindi po namin produkto ang produkto ng magsasaka. Produkto po nila yun. Ang produkto po namin ay ang mga magsasaka. So
Tama.
hindi po kami kumukuha. Kahit po yung plano na in the future, magbabattle po kami ng sarili namin and iba-brand po namin as Session Groceries. What we want is farmer and Session Groceries. Kasi pag yumaman po ang magsasaka, yayaman po ang Session Groceries. Kung hindi po kami nagpo-progress, hindi rin po nagpo-progress ang magsasaka. Yun po ang ibig namin sabihin sa kanila na kailangan magkaakibat tayo dito, kaya nga partnership eh. Hindi po pwedeng kami lang ang may nakukuha, dapat kayo. Kasi kung pinagbuti ninyo, kami din, mapagbubuti din namin. So ganun po, hindi po, wala pong farm.
At the cost na binibili mo yung mga produkto, mga gulay na magsasaka, what do they say? Mas mataas ba ang pagbili mo ng produkto, or pareho lang ng rate before they found you?
Yung ma'am, yung ginagawa natin ngayon, nagpapa-training po tayo ng production costing. So pag sinabi po nila, ang production costing po nila ay 50 pesos, hindi po namin tatawaran. That's 50 pesos. Mag-i-inject po kami ng sarili naming costing at yun po yung inilalagay namin sa app. Definitely hindi po naapektuhan ng presyo na sinasabi ng farmer. But kailangan lang po niyang dumaan sa production training natin para alam natin na tama lahat po ng aspect.
Sino ang nagbibigay ng production training sa mga farmers ninyo?
Meron po tayong kinukuhang dito sa BSU. Sila po yung expert doon. So, kinukuha po natin sila para mag-training sa mga farmers na to.
Okay. Sa nakaraang 8 months ng pandemic, marami bang mga produkto ng ating mga magsasaka ay nabulok, hindi nabenta, or ito ba na-divert at ginawang iba't ibang produkto?
Nung pandemic po ma'am, since kami yung group na ready, wala po tayong nabulok. Ang nagiging issue na lang nila dahil nag-prepare po sila for this, ito po ang mga next na gusto po nila ma-market namin ng tama para hindi po siya mabulok. Pero wala pong nabulok during the pandemic.
Very good.
Thank you po.
It's really admirable what you're doing. And again, this Session Groceries, you were not born during the pandemic, di ba? 2018 ka pa, no?
Hindi po, no po.
Pero ang pandemya ay hindi nakatanggal ng iyong inspiration na ipatuloy ang negosyo mo, and you were able na agapan mo yung pinakamaigting na ECQ, and even if there's still a pandemic, you're able to protect the business and protect your farmers as well, right?
Right, ma'am. Maraming salamat po.
So, may I ask Rural Rising and Eloisa as well, perhaps to give us, to the Climate Change Commission who contacted you, a list of all your farmers, whether individuals, cooperatives, or associations, in which barangay, in which LGU they are located. If they are organized into a cooperative, we will know how to help them through the CDA. If they're individuals, we will know how to help them through you or directly through Dole Tupad. Kasi may mga program ng gobyerno, pang individual, pang organized na grupo. Yon. Thank you so much. From Session Road, we go to Sagada. I miss Cordillera so much. Okay, Professor, Rural Rising, then we have Session, and now we have Sustainable Sagada. I love your term, Sustainable Sagada. Tell us, Professor Tracy, not just your transition from being a professor and cultural worker, but also the work you do for Sustainable Sagada.
Hi, magandang...
Also meet again with the Potters of Sagada that I went to long ago My cup is still with me. Gusto ko silang tulungan at bigyan ng DTI Shared Services Facilities or DOLE pangkabuhayan, especially now.
Yes, ma'am. I will also tell you about their story, yung Sagada Pottery. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. And maraming salamat po sa pag-imbita sa amin dito para ma-share namin yung kwento ng Sustainable Sagada. And the same as Rural Rising, we were born at the onset of the pandemic. And I have been working as a cultural worker for so many years now, for the past 25 years. At yung trabaho ko po as a cultural worker ay nadala ako sa iba-ibang lugar ng Pilipinas. At ang isa sa mga madalas ko napupuntahan ay ang Sagada. So I also became a volunteer, a tourism consultant for the LGU, helping them in their sustainable and responsible tourism programs. As we all know, ang Sagada nagkaroon ng issue and concern on mass tourism just a few years back. And I have been working with them, helping them, and actually telling them even before the pandemic na ang isang paraan para matulungan ang Sagada sa tourism ay makahanap ng isang alternative source of income para sa mga tao. Dahil yung ibang farmers ay naging tourist guide na at konti na lang ang nagtatanim. Pero dahil nga sa pandemic, nagkaroon ng lockdown, marami ang nawalan ng trabaho ng mga locals, no, yung mga tourist guides, and a lot of them have turned back to tourism and went back to farming. Yun yung kagandahan doon. So why Sustainable Sagada? When I was talking to Mayor James Puten, ang sabi namin ay let's look at the bigger vision, the perfect end result of what we are going to do, and that is a sustainable Sagada. Whether matapos na yung pandemic, what we want or to work on is really towards the direction of a sustainable Sagada. So yun yung big picture namin lagi. So our fair beginning started when si Mayor James Puten called me and said, Tracy, baka ito na yung pagkakataon na gawin na natin yung alternative source of income para sa Sagada, no? Dahil sarado kami ngayon eh. At yung mga trading post ay sarado din, naka-lockdown din at that time. No? I think that was at the end of March. So ang sabi ko, sige po, gawin natin to. Pero kasi kung naka-lockdown at ECQ dito sa Manila, the only way to do is really through online. So sabi niya, sige, kasi hindi namin alam paano namin mapaparating dyan. O hindi namin alam paano namin ibebenta, hahanapan ng market dito. Sabi ko, sa akin naman po, ang hindi ko alam ay kung paano ko mapaparating yan dito sa Manila. So sabi niya, we will work with the Department of Agriculture, CAR, to bring the vegetables to Manila. Tapos ikaw na ang bahala niya na magbenta. So we started with 5.3 tons of vegetables. But ano lang siya, mga 7 kinds of vegetables yung dinala namin dito. Tapos sabi namin, magsakay na rin kayo ng kape. So that was 2 truckloads of vegetables. And at that time, mabilis talaga mabenta yung mga gulay. Bakit? Kasi napakamura. In fact, nung pinatanong namin sa mga farmers, magkano ninyo ibibigay yung gulay? Sabi lang mga 15 pesos. Sabi ko, 15 pesos masyadong mura yan. Napakamahal ng gulay ngayon dito sa Manila. At yung pag kinuha ko yan, gaano katagal kayo masusustain ng bayad na yan para sa pamilya ninyo? At hindi natin alam kung hanggang kailan ang pandemic. So, dapat meron kayong laging hawak na pera. So, my condition then, before I started with Sustainable Sagada, was to buy the vegetables at 10 to 15 pesos higher than what they were offering. Tapos dinagdag namin yung transportation cost, which is kasi sa Department of Agriculture, hindi naman full full subsidy or full kumbaga free na ibibigay nila yung pag-transport, but we would also be paying for the toll, for the allowance of the drivers, and we understand that. So we also thought about yung mga kailangan din ng tulong dito sa Manila na nawalan ng trabaho. These are the drivers, ito yung mga nawalan ng trabaho. So sila yung mga tumulong sa amin na mag-pack ng mga gulay at sila rin yung nag-deliver ng mga dito mga gulay na to. But after several months, we were working on consistently for 3 months. We were getting per run that was every other week about 5 tons, an average of 5 tons of vegetables. At marami po yun. Pero marami rin kaming na idagdag na doon kasi sabi namin kung nakakapagsakay tayo ng gulay sa truck, magsakay na rin tayo ng ibang produkto. Kasi maraming mga produkto ang Sagada na hinanda na nila para sa peak season ng tourism. Andiyan yung mga strawberry jam nila or iba-ibang jam nila, yung wines. Napakaraming naihanda na hindi nila mabenta. So ang sabi namin, let's not wait for the foot traffic to come back to Sagada, but let's bring all these products to where the foot traffic is, which is Manila. So for every run, ang ginagawa namin, dinadala namin, papasakay na kami nitong mga products ng Sagada doon sa truck. So hindi na lang gulay yung naisasakay doon. And kilala ko rin yung si Sagada Pottery, no? And sabi niya, nag-worry na siya kasi ang dami niyang nagawa in preparation for a lot of fairs. And sabi ko, ba't hindi mo isakay sa truck? Ibebenta namin yan dito. Sabi niya, ma'am, kaya lang po kasi hindi siya, it's non-essential. My pottery is non-essential. Sabi namin, regardless, meron at merong bibili yan. As long as we put it out there, we will be able to sell it. And since April na nakapagsasakay kami din ng mga pottery niya, we sold, I think, over 100,000 or maybe almost 150,000 worth of her pottery, from mugs to bowls and a lot of her items. And now she continues to work to do pottery and even teaching other former tourist guides to do pottery. So now, yung aming going back to the gulay and the produce, we have been doing that for 3 months consistent yung aming yung numbers namin of an average of 5 tons or about 10 tons per month. So pero dumating yung point din kasi na nagkaroon bumaba na ang ECQ at naging GCQ na. And that's when we observed na bakit bumababa, lumiliit yung numbers natin, no? Nung lumiit yung numbers, sabi namin, parang ang nakukuha na lang natin na orders from the households was just 1/4 of what we used to get. Okay, so sabi namin, nakakatakot na yun kasi hindi na natin masusustain itong mga itinutulong natin sa Sagada. So we asked ourselves, sino pa bang hindi kumakain ng gulay? Or better yet, the question was, sino pa ang hindi kumakain o sino na ang hindi kumakain dito sa Manila? We would drive around Manila at nakikita namin na ang daming nagugutom talaga, ang daming nanlilimos dahil maraming nawalan ng trabaho. Andyan yung mga jeepney drivers, nandyan yung mga homeless street dwellers. There are these locally stranded individuals, unemployed, survivors of natural calamities, at marami pang iba. So sabi namin, nakita namin yung picture that there is an oversupply of vegetables in the Cordilleras. And in Manila, napakarami ng nangangailangan ng pagkain. So how do we bridge that? How do we bring the vegetables to the hungry? So ang ginawa po namin ay gumawa kami ng mga programs to sell these vegetables to those who would like to donate, no? Marami kaming mga household buyers, sabi nila, we can only buy 2 kilos for ourselves kasi mag-asawa lang kami. Ganon. But I would like to help. I would like to buy vegetables to support to support the hungry. So gumawa kami ng programs. Isa doon ay yung Pantawid Pasada, providing jeepney drivers, tricycle drivers, pati po yung mga kutsero ng Intramuros. Nag-provide kami ng mga gulay na binili ng mga buyers namin at binigay namin yon sa kanila para maibenta. Yung iba ay for personal consumption, ay yung iba naman ay para maibenta nila. At yung mga jeepney drivers sa UP Ikot, yung lahat po ng routes niya, nabigyan namin ng gulay. Pati po yung Dapitan drivers na ngayon po ay meron na silang maliit na tindahan. Ang Barangay 516 ng Sampaloc, Manila ay nag-provide ng tent. At ngayon ay nagbebenta sila ng mga gulay doon. We also have yung Project Karinderya, which we partnered with an NGO, Kasagana Ka Development Center Incorporated and Kasagana Ka Savings and Cooperative Incorporated. They were able to bridge us with 80 Karinderya owners in 8 identified urban poor communities in Manila, Bulacan, and Cavite. And in exchange, yung karinderya po ay tumutulong na magpakain ng mga vulnerable members ng community. Ito po yung mga senior citizens, the PWD, lactating mothers and pregnant women. Nagkaroon din po kami ng program yung 5 de Sopa. We provided 20 kilos each of repolyo. Dahil nagkaroon ng oversupply ng repolyo sa Cordillera, itong repolyo ay binili ng mga buyers namin para sa 50 karinderya in 5 barangays of Intramuros para magbenta ng 5 peso cabbage soup para po sa mga mahihirap. Bakit hindi libre? Kasi kailangan natin tulungan din yung mga karinderya. Kaya kahit yung mga palima-limang piso ay sila din po ay matutulungan. At yung ngayon po, ang current program na ginagawa namin ay yung Gulay para sa Buhay. This is providing mobile community kitchens in disaster-stricken areas. And providing them tons of vegetables for their daily cooking for the evacuees. We did this last week with Albay, in TV Albay, and we partnered with Art Relief Mobile Kitchen. The other day, we brought 3 tons of vegetables to Kawayan City, Isabela. At meron po silang food bank, at yung food bank ay dinala ito sa lahat ng mga barangay nila para makapagluto para sa kanilang mga kababayan. And this weekend we will be bringing another 3 tons of vegetables to Cagayan, to Tuguegarao, Cagayan, kung saan ay pupunta ulit ang Art Relief Mobile Kitchen para makapagluto. Na-realize din namin sa ginagawa naming trabaho ngayon, hindi lang kami nagbebenta ng gulay. At hindi lang kami yung talagang player dito sa namin, sa sinimulan namin. But we have a lot of collaborators. So the work with the farmers is not just between the farmers and us, but it's the farmers and us and many more organizations, many more people who would like to be part of the whole cycle, the whole circle. And we call them our collaborators. We partnered with Baclaran Church, at dun sila nag-house ng maraming LSI noon, at nag-provide kami ng mga gulay para mailuto at mapakain sa kanila. We also provided vegetables for jeepney drivers of the UP COVID-19 response volunteers and Art Relief Mobile Kitchen. We also give vegetables to Kawa Pilipinas. Sila po ay halos araw-araw ay nagluluto para sa mga mahihirap dito sa buong Manila. We have Kasagana Ka Development Center Inc., Kasagana Ka Savings and Cooperative Incorporated, and the Intramuros administration has been very, very helpful to us. Yes, next. Okay, so sa amin, dito sa ginagawa namin, siguro ang learning talaga namin was really to change paradigms for sustainability. Ngayon yung nangyayari, merong pandemic, may mga natural calamities, but we have to think beyond that. We have to think of the future. And ang isa siguro yung malalim na talaga na-realize namin o lesson para din sa amin, yung makita namin na para to help a farmer, we need to look at the whole value chain solutions na magka-create ito ng long-term at sustainable opportunities para sa farmer at para sa lahat ng pinapakain niya. Makita na siya ay parte ng solution. So lagi naming sinasabi yan sa municipal agriculture, sa LGU ng Sagada. Please tell the farmers that their work is very important and very valuable for us. Lalo ngayong pandemya na kung hindi dahil sa mga farmers, marami ang nagugutom dito sa Maynila. Marami sa amin ang magugutom kung hindi dahil sa kanila. Kagabi, kausap ko yung municipal agriculturist at sinabi ko na yung lahat nga ng gulay sa Isabela ay napadala na sa mga kanya-kanyang barangayan. Please tell the farmer that napakalaki ng tulong na nagawa niya sa mga kapwa niya, farmer din sa Isabela. And also we want to emphasize that if we change the narrative of the poor and unfortunate farmer to that of being the empowered farmer, we will be able to provide him the respect dignity and pride, which will allow him to live and abundantly provide for everyone in the future. I agree. I fully agree with Eloisa of Session Groceries. No, talaga, we really need to empower our farmers. Yung hindi na lang masasabi na farmer lang ako, pero farmer ako. Yung ganong no, we have to hindi makita niya yung sarili niya na napakalaki at hindi lang siya isang maliit na farmer, pero napakalaki niya sa mas malaki pang picture ng society natin. At kung tutuusin ay hindi lang siya basta parte, pero source siya ng buhay ng maraming Pilipino. Yun po. Thank you.
Admirable, Tracy. Perhaps you could replicate your efforts in different provinces, different cities, because you help the farmers of the Cordillera. Perhaps the farmers in Mindanao, in every region, every province can be helped. Even what you're doing can be replicated in my home province of Antique as well. It would be good for you to mentor other areas and to link up with provincial and municipal agriculturists. Because also you are a teacher, you're able to communicate it so clearly, succinctly, and on the ground, naintindihan. We appreciate all the work you do. So it's very clear, just like Session Groceries and Session Groceries and the Estrada couple. Yes, you do not farm yourself.
I do not farm myself.
Yes, you're not a farmer yourself, but like Eloisa, she said, ang kanyang collaborator ang farmer. Just like the Estrada couple, they help the farmers bring their produce, which is inaccessible during times of pandemic, to the hungry Filipino in the cities who are locked down. So beyond the lockdown, beyond the next 12 months of COVID, hopefully, or less, how do you see yourself as Tracy, professor, independent cultural worker, and collaborator with the farmer?
Yes.
Looking post-pandemic, in the new norm, in the better normal. Are you still doing this? Because sabi mo, bumaba na ang demand, 1/4 na lang. And I hope that, and I know that the Philippine economy will recover. But there will never be a dearth of people na nangangailangan ng pagkain. Anyway, how do you see your efforts, your sustainable social enterprise evolve post-pandemic?
Thank you po. Actually, ngayon po, we call it the Sustainable Sagada. And we are working directly with the local government of Sagada. But we are also looking at other towns and make it sustainable towns. So not just Sagada, but all towns. So kumbaga, sinasama natin yung iba pang mga bayan, no? Ibang city at ibang bayan, doon sa bigger vision of sustainability. And sa akin, isa rin po sa mga magandang lesson na experience ko o natutunan ko dito sa Sagada is that hindi lang ako yung nagme-mentor o nagtuturo sa kanila, but I learned so much from the farmers. I learned a lot from them. Marami sa kanila ang dahil karamihan ay backyard farmers, hindi sila crop growers, no? So they have their own ways, and we also need to understand in the Cordillera, they have the indigenous knowledge system and practices na hindi mo pwedeng baliin, sabihin na hindi dapat yan ang ginagawa nyo kasi hindi yan sustainable at hindi kayo kikita dyan. They know what to do. They have been practicing that, and I learned from them. You know, even yung sa post-harvest process, minsan magpapadala sila ng mga gulay na hindi maganda. And I would always tell them na hindi rin po maganda na nakakapagpadala kayo ng hindi magandang gulay dito. Ano po ba ang pwede ninyong magawa dyan para mas maganda ang gulay? And they actually give the solution. Sila yung naghahanap ng paraan, no? That's what I like about Sagada. They're very they're very self-reliant because of this lockdown. Yung lahat ng solution din, sila rin yung gumagawa at ako yung natututo sa kanila. Now, what I want to see this for other towns is that to create champions for each town. Because ako nga sabi ko, sa Sustainable Sagada, pag tinatanong, gaano kalaki yung team mo? Sabi ko, team? Anong team? Ako lang po ito gumagawa ng lahat ng operations na to. And pag dumadating ang gulay,
Amazing. You don't have a staff. You don't have a team.
I don't, because it
Wow.
could be so much easier if there was no lockdown. It's easier to hire people. And I work at home and I do everything from my laptop and from my phone. And I cannot just hire people because I live with my parents who are senior citizens. So pati po yung pag-hire ng mga tao ay hindi ganun kadali, di ba? So
Yes.
even from my end,
And even hiring people would be so expensive, hindi naman, ang tanong ko sa inyong tatlo, kumikita ba kayo dito o naglalabas kayo ng personal savings nyo para gawin nyo ang tulong sa mga tao? Are you earning from this? Or break even lang yan because you're doing good and you enjoy doing it?
Well, for myself, yes, I earn, but not so much. Kasi ang lahat ng kinoconsider ko would be kapag dumating ang gulay, kung merong spoilage, ako ang magbabayad dyan kasama. Yung bayad ko sa mga tao na magpapack at magde-deliver, kasama na yan. So, nag-a-allow lang ako ng maliit na margin for myself because if I'm looking at Sustainable Sagada, I myself should also be sustainable.
That's
So,
true.
kailangan parehong ano.
That's true. Of course, let's be practical. Kailangan may profit. You
Yes.
cannot be operating an enterprise na nalulugi ka. You have to pay utilities, kuryente at tubig, gasolina at makakain sa araw-araw. We cannot keep, it has to be sustainable. Sustainable enterprises should be sustainable for ourselves as well. So
Yes.
I'm so grateful for all this information you're giving us, all the hard work you put into your presentations and the hard work you do with your farmers. Let you be blessed 1,000-fold, and I hope to be in close touch with all of you. As I said, if you could give us your farmers associations, cooperatives, even individual farmer families who perhaps could be helped as well. I would also like to give you some comments from our Facebook page. Not able to read all, but greeting the people of Batangas, Caloocan, Mandaluyong, US, they're watching us, and Antique. Maken says, good morning from Mandaluyong. Haj Jesus, good morning. Alfred Anshado from Batangas. Ruf Aban, Caloocan and Antique. Romero Resurrection says, mabuhay. Nemia Marie Atutubo, God bless everyone. Lea Torres says, good morning. Rizel Seco Balagtas says, good morning. Jolina Joy Manlapig Villaruel, Santilian Ge, God bless Congresswoman. Yes, Antolin Juanillo Cordero from Funda in Hamtik, Antique. J. Domingo Asuncion, malaking tulong ka sa atin. Thank you po. Harriet Tauli, good morning. Gadiel Ademar, good morning, Antique. Ang daming nanood sa Antique. Donna Sanidad, kamusta po? Letrab, maganda umaga. Watching from the US. I wonder saan sa Amerika siya. Maraming salamat. Keep up the good job po, Senator. I thank you po. Hope we can buy the squash and kamatis. But sa Amerika siya, paano ba yan? Ang kamatis daw, sabi ni Manghil, ay 10 pesos isang piraso. Ang mahal na. Sa Quezon City Market, that's too much. How much is 1 kilo ng kamatis ngayon sa inyo, Tracy?
Sa Sagada, kinukuha namin ito ng 90 pesos. And,
For 1 kilo?
For 1 kilo. That's the American tomatoes, yung magandang klaseng tomatoes na
Malalaki.
ito. Yes. And we sell it at 110 to 115 pesos.
Ang mahal per kilo. Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
in the Quezon City Market, according to Hill, my former photographer, ay 10 piso ang isang piraso. Ang mahal naman. Nagtatanim na nga ako ng sarili kong kamatis. Nahihirapan lang ako, I admit, sa kamatis. Ang madaling itanim sa akin ay talinum at saka lechugas. Ang arugula, medyo mahirap. Pero anyway, we talk about. After this, I will show Session Groceries. I will show Rural Rising and Sustainable Sagada ang mga tanim ko. Ayan. Ako rin ay farmer, hindi small farmer, hindi micro entrepreneur, nano, napaliit, pang sariling consumption lang. At sa ibang mga staff ko, sinishare ko lang sa aking bubong, sa aking maliit na garden, sa aking maliit na farm. But I am grateful to all of you. We will be in touch. It's 11:40. I thank the Climate Change Commission, the Mother Earth Foundation. Sonia Mendoza is watching and she says, congratulations to all your guests. Sabi niya, ang gagaling nila, ang gagaling da. Okay, then now I will just present to you some photos of pagkaon para sa tanan in Antique, where I bought most of the produce and redistributed it to the people who could not leave their homes. Thank you so much, Rural Rising, Sustainable Sagada, and Session Groceries. I am certain to be in touch with you and I hope to order some goods from you. Kaya lang hindi ako nag-order kasi I grow my own food eh. So I may not be the best customer kasi nagtatanim din ako, pinamimigay ko at konting benta para naman may konti akong income, di ba? Okay. Thank you so much. Duro gid nga salamat, palangga ko kamo at we realize how people are still suffering in Cagayan and Isabela, even in the province of Rizal and in the city of Marikina. As I speak now, we are on our Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, our 7th day of barangay feeding mission in Marikina. We will do other cities and provinces as well. We are helping in terms of cash for work in affected areas and doing our own little way in making lives better. Rural Rising is making life better. Sustainable Sagada is equally admirable, and Social Session Groceries brings our produce closer to the people. I wish there were more of you, and I know there are a lot of you. And we are here to collaborate with you to help you make life better for the Filipinos. Thank you. We see my pictures I'd like to share with you. Ayan, ang sa Antique, pagkaon para sa tanan. Ang mga gulay galing sa bundok ay binaba namin mula sa San Remillo hanggang sa Valderrama, Ninii, at pinapak. Ang tumulong sa amin ay ang aming mga pulisya at militar at pati mga volunteers at pati na rin ang aking district office. Napakayaman ng lupa ng Antique. At ito'y pinamigay ng libre sa ating mga pamilya na nasa iba't ibang bayan, Belison, Pandan. Ang sipag-sipag ng aking mga staff, lalo na yung panahon ng March, April, May, yung panahon ng kasagsagan ng ECQ. Napakayaman yan. Yan ay farm ni Governor Cadiao in San Jose. Yan ako naman, nagtatanim ako ng kape, Robusta. Panahon pa ng lola ko yan, nagtatanim din ako ng bahay kubo vegetables. Yan. Meron akong greenhouse at gawa lang namin yan at nagtatanim din ng gulay gaya ng pechay at ng arugula at ng lechugas. Meron din kaming dragon fruit at meron akong mabolo at may passion fruit at ang mga produkto ng mga kapitbahay ay binibili lalo na pag kailangan nila ng pera or pag sinishare nila. Yan ay gulay na aming tinatanim at ang tubig ko ay galing sa tubig ulan dahil ang rainwater collector ay mahalaga para hindi sayang ang tubig. Okay, maikli lang presentation ko. Mas magandang presentation ng ating tatlong guests. Anyway, so we are very grateful to you. Thank you once again, and we'll see you next week for more stories for a better normal. And remember, the Philippines may not be a major emitter of greenhouse gases emissions in the world because we are only 1/3 of 1%. But it does not mean that we do not mitigate and adapt. Ibig sabihin, ang ating pamumuhay ay dapat green, dapat sustainable, gaya ng ginagawa ninyong tatlo sa ating mga magsasaka. Yeah, thank you very much. We are blessed to have people and Filipinos like you that continue to give hope to our farmers and our people. Thanks to our partners in government helping us, and we are giving away farmer starter kits to the Facebook messages that we receive. The Climate Change Commission is in charge. Thank you. Have a good day. Keep safe. God bless.